But ichbinmiah is going to give that a shot. Well, that was awkward. So, hello, since you weren't hearing me before. So we already had Silver Harp access. We had 2 keys at the front, which allowed Hangry Canuck to get a decent gold grind going, though getting out with that gold is going to be problematic for sure. And ichbinmiah is just straight up starting over. Okay. Maybe. One potential idea. I wonder if he's thinking about heading to... And wow, thehalanheffley is actually making some exploration progress, finding the Jerk Cave. And I guess that other cave was the Staff of Rain Cave. And there's a town. There's a town there too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it is interesting that our runners are starting with heal more and enough MP to actually use it. That is not something you see very often. So one thing that we were talking about before that I guess wasn't heard was the thought of whether or not why our runners weren't using the harp. And my thought on the matter on that is that while the Silver Harp does give you access to enemies without having to move, it doesn't necessarily give you enemies from the encounter zone 0 or whatever the one closest to Tanagil. So there's no guarantee that the enemies that you get are ones that can actually be dealt with. And on ichbinmiah side, those wolves were proving to be resistant to hurt, which wasn't making matters any easier. I, for one, have never really gotten too much mileage out of the sleep spell, but that's probably more of a me thing than anything. It's never really something. I think the only time I ever really used sleep too much was when I was desperate to try to run away or something. So I thought at one point I saw Hangry Canuck have like 36 XP, and apparently okay, but that's not enough because we need 66 to get to level 2. So that's not a nice thing to see. And we have the Armored Knights, which aren't really playing nice either. Well, there's a Magidraki that's not hitting too hard. But it does have sleep, though. And there's the wombo combo. It was a bit delayed, but there it is. And can thealanheffley make it to the town? Yes, and it is Rimmildar. And I'm echoing, I see. What do we have for sale? Oh, wow, flame sword for 784, silver shield. Silver shield for 658. Wow. That will definitely give the thealanheffley a leg up on trying to get some kills here.
Yeah, definitely so. It definitely seems that we are looking at a seed with Rimmildar early on, getting the Flame Sword early on. The thealanheffley definitely has the advantage here, and it looks like he's going to be taking that advantage a step further by stocking up on magic keys here.
So the thealanheffley taking advantage of being at Rimmildar, getting some keys, getting a weapon. That is very nice.
Yeah, and the fact that he's able... to get an in-stop here really helps him out a lot too. And in terms of trying to get a little bit more exploration done, he's able to fill up that heal more a little bit, and he's able to utilize these desert tiles that are just north of Tantagel.
And oh wow, that is a kill. That is some good bit of XP right there.
52 speed, 50 HP, and 62 magic. That is an insane level. Like, granted,
that was 6 levels right there.
Yeah, granted, it's 6 levels, but those are still some pretty impressive stats for only level 7.
60. Looking at the stats, 66 health. Looks like nothing. 70 magic. That is a huge leg up for the Alanheffley.
Yeah, and that 50 stat gain to speed pretty much puts just about every enemy in these first 2 zones pretty much into play. He's able to fight against all of them pretty effectively, I would say.
And meanwhile, the Hangry Canuck has been able to make a bit of headway, getting to level 3. I don't know if it was against the skeletons or what, but he's been able to get some progress going as well.
Yeah, and that's definitely interesting to see that he was able to take a different route and still make it work. I was definitely concerned about that when I was seeing him rolling down through the hills just south of Tantagel and not seeing much headway. But he's making it work, and he's got a very solid second place right now.
And while Maya's been able to get this skeleton to sleep, but causing damage has not been consistent.
Yeah, it definitely seems that he's at the point where dealing damage is going to be a coin toss, and that's just not something you want to see.
And the Alanheffley decided to check what's in the Tantagel basement, and by the movements, I'm not entirely sure where he's at now. I thought he might have been in Tablet Cave, but now I'm not so sure.
I'm thinking that you're probably right on Tablet Cave there. It looks like he had bumped into one of the corners that causes you to move back to the west there. So it could be. It might be the grave as well.
If it was... The fact that he hasn't had an encounter yet pretty much screams that it's Tablet Cave at this point.
Well, you would have to actually think about that to draw that conclusion, so that's good detective work on your part.
Ooh, another notice. Hangry Canuck has hurt more at 5. That is a nice find as well.
Yeah, and the Angry Canuck has actually found out quite a bit of enemy information for us as well. Red Dragons with DL2 Breath, and then we also have Metal Slimes with Hurt More, and there was one other thing that had Baby Breath up there as well, if I remember right.
And it looks like it's actually the Golem might be the one that had the weak stats, because one hurt was able to take it out. And I know we saw the Armored Knights had Baby Breath at least. But while taking out those golems, he's able to... Holy cow, that's a lot of spells at level 7. Outside, return, heal more, hurt more. That is some pretty good variety there.
Yeah, especially in this spot here that he's at where he just seems to be kind of stuck.
I'm starting to think Alanheffley's stream might be the one that's stuck.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at it and I'm not getting anything on my end, so hopefully that clears up here shortly.
So unfortunately, Hangry Canuck wasn't able to afford any of the very nice equipment, but at least he'll be able to get some keys.
Yeah, and I definitely think that keys are going to be the key here for the Angry Canuck. finding what he needs to find.
And, ichbinmiah is still struggling to get off the ground, unfortunately. Well, let's see what the chest here in Rimuldar is, and it's an herb. Oh well. And I don't think the silver harp is doing Maya much good right now.
Yeah, and definitely looking that way. Wyverns being the most prominent enemy that's carrying through on the Silver Harp. Just unfortunately, they have physical attacks that take you down in 3 attacks, and you're not guaranteed to kill them in 3 hurts. So this is a very brutal spot for ichbinmiah. He might just have to make a beeline for the north and hopefully find Rimuldar and get some equipment.
I think the bigger thing is I don't think he's actually seen a golem yet, because I'm convinced that's the enemy that would get him some XP at this point.
Yeah, and I definitely agree that the golem is going to be the noodle for sure. With it only having 5 HP, that would definitely put it in striking range for him. So it looks like the Angry Canuck is going to take advantage of the gold in Tantagel Treasury and pick himself up some equipment.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Rimuldar is a short trip away, and the amount spent on keys, you'll be making that up about what? At least tenfold on the gold you're getting from the treasury. And the Hangry Canuck getting the really good news about the slimes. So one other thing, I don't really know where the borders are between zones here. And that's kind of worrying. Because for all I know, that bit of mountains might not even be in the same zone that the golems are in.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and that's one thing that makes Chaos Mode and Randomizer in general just so much harder, is that you don't have the set 15 by 15 grid for where the monster zones are. It's still a 15 by 15 grid, but unfortunately they're different shapes and sizes and all sorts of things.
And just from the at the start of the game, you don't really know your place in it. Unless you somehow started in like one of the far corners of the world, you really wouldn't know where the borders are, and I certainly wouldn't be one to keep track of where those zones are based off of that. And Maya was able to take out a wolf, but only got 6 XP from it. So that's not the one. And look, we got thehalanheffley back, and Heffley is up to level 10. I'll have to take a look at his items whenever he brings that up to see if he had found anything. Well, at the very least, he has Radiant and about a 900 XP advantage over Hangry Canuck. Ooh, and Heffley gains a level. That's 0166. Not too much. And Hangry Canuck decides to turn in the harp, get that Staff of Rain. I believe we had seen out the thealanheffley. The menu check, the item menu check went by so fast, I couldn't even remember if the thealanheffley had even turned in the silver harp yet. I know he's seen the Staff of Rain cave, and ichbinmiah is taking the trip east and is seeing the end of the swamp, but is stuck to using the harp again. We have two on the thealanheffley. We have 2 caves and a town.
Yeah, and he's definitely
and it's Breckenary.
It's definitely an interesting choice on ichbinmiah's choice to continue trying to grind instead of trying to explore out a little bit, see if he can find a nearby town. Because the reason that he's resetting at this point is definitely 100%.
Do you have any good cheap armor? Emphatic no. Not only is it not good, it's not cheap.
Yeah, and the Angry Canuck, having that silver shield is going to help massively. It probably won't come into play later in the game, especially seeing those amazing speed growth. But we'll see what happens. It'll be close.
And for all we know, thealanheffley could have got this silver shield. I don't think we've seen him pull up the stats yet.
That's definitely true, especially seeing as how its price point was, what, like 387 or something like that in Remolder?
I think it was more like 600 and something, but yeah. And there's Radiant, and that is the grave. Get some good treasure here, hopefully. Yeah, definitely. Oh, most definitely. And the fighter's ring, too. Oh, my. So, a key, Edric's sword, and the fighter's ring. That is nice.
Yeah, that's definitely huge. Finding Edric's sword. The flame sword was fairly cheap, so it's not as huge of a deal as it normally is, but it's always nice to see that at the top of the grave instead of having to dive down to the bottom for it.
Or finding it in Sharlock or some other nasty place.
Well, actually, with this flag set, even with the sword being in Sharlock, it's not as big of a deal, because Flame Sword is cheap. It's only 12 less attack power, and with this being a short Sharlock seed, we actually get transported straight to the bottom floor. So you're going to be able to access the treasury right away, and then it also has the set of stairs that lead straight down to the vanilla chest, basically with the same amount of encounters that you're going to get walking to the treasury. So,
Well, that is all true, goodness knows the enemies in Sharlock probably aren't not going to be the nice ones.
yeah, and that's definitely true as well. The biggest thing is that whether or not the enemies in Sherlock are going to be susceptible to either hurt more or sleep, that would be what would make the biggest difference there.
So I'm noticing DWR League kind of taking an alternate route through the grave here. Makes me wonder how familiar he is with with these caves. He took the bottom route to get to where that vanilla cursed belt is. Ooh, 17 power. Okay, that is nice. That is very nice. Alright, so we just have one more chest here in the grave. We're still looking for the Stones of Sunlight. Technically, it's still Edric's token as well, but I'm not expecting to see that in the treasure chest at this point. And unfortunately, ichbinmiah is still struggling to get anything going. These enemies are not playing nice.
Yeah, it's definitely very unfortunate for him that he hasn't been.
And I had missed what thealanheffley had gotten. Apparently, that was the Stones of Sunlight. Very nice. So that dive was definitely needed. And what was this other cave? That's the mountain cave. And unfortunately, the thealanheffley gets knocked out of Mountain Cave.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate, but still, he's level 12, he's got Erdrick's sword. This is a very, very good position for him to be in. He knows right where the Staff of Rain cave is. He's pretty much just on the hunt for the armor and the token.
This, whatever encounter group the Silver Harp is pulling from is not what ichbinmiah needs.
And I definitely agree with that point as well. The Silver Harp just is not the way to go right now. What I would be looking at is the swamp, or the desert at the end of the swamp that we are so easily able to access.
I thought, I don't know what ichbinmiah knows about the randomizer or Dragon Warrior in general, but he might be under the mindset that the enemies that the Silver Harp is pulling from is the region that he's currently in, and I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, it actually only pulls 5 enemies randomly from the pool of the grand total of enemies. It's not zone specific at all.
Oh, really? Is that a randomizer thing?
I believe that is true for randomizer only. I think the Silver Harp in the vanilla game pulls, I believe it's a slime, red slime, Drakey. I think it might pull a ghost. And
I want to say it pulls as high as a scorpion, if memory serves.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. I want to say that it's slime through scorpion. It's either the magician or the scorpion that the 5th enemy is. It pulls 5 enemies, so it's the same size as an enemy domain, but it doesn't pull from any specific domain.
Oh, okay. Learn something new all the time. Alright, so let's see what we have here at the bottom of Mountain Cave, and I think thehangrycanuck might be in the same area. It certainly was fighting the same enemies. Nope, he's actually in the grave. Okay. And Helen Heffley finding the dragon scale and a cursed belt.
And then the herb at the chest just south of the stairs there. So nothing really to write home about mountains so far.
Yeah, the Hangry Canuck getting the good news about Edric's sword. And our last one is just money. So that's 2 major dungeons full cleared. And pretty much, well, the grave was really the only one that was really worthwhile. There wasn't really too much of worth in the mountain cave.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that, and I think that the biggest thing right now is for these runners to find the village of Cole. The village of Cole having one of the search spots is going to give us some information, seeing as how we're looking for 2 items that are currently on search spots.
Potentially 3. So finding either Cole, Hawksness, or Cantlin would get our runners some good information.
Yeah, definitely so, and I think that it would be very nice that the thealanheffley has found the swamp cave here. We're probably going to see a town just on the other side of it.
Yeah, hopefully. Goodness knows how many seeds I've seen where the end of the other side of Swamp Cave had absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and that's definitely true. Breckenary was on the first continent, so, you know, it is very possible that there's nothing over here.
But, like I said, we haven't seen Cole, we haven't seen Hawksness, we haven't seen Cantlin, so any of them could...
Garenham.
Well, or Garenham, totally forgot about that one. Okay, that works too.
And it's possible that the token could be in one of these chests as well, seeing as how we've only seen one cursed belt, so... I mean, all 3 of these work. And now all 3 search spots are confirmed to be in play.
So I don't think I've ever seen the other side of Swamp Cave end up in Garenham. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah, it is a very interesting thing. The thing that's really big about it is that it actually makes a gold grind potentially right in Tantagel at level 1. And the reason that happens is if, say, Swamp North is in Tantagel basement, and that leads to the back half of Garenham. Well, you have the 3 chests in Garenham, you have the 3 chests from the throne room, and then you have the 4 in the treasury. So you can immediately gold grind off of that. So it actually leads to a pretty interesting way to gold grind.
Yeah, although you do need 2 keys to do that. One to get to the Tantagel basement, and one to get out of one to well, I guess you only need the 2nd key if you want to go to the front side of Garenham, I guess. But there's another town, and it's Hawksness. Okay.
Well, and you wouldn't actually need the 2nd key to get to the front side of Garenham. You would only need the 1 key to get to Tantagel basement, because you can just exit out the staircase and then walk off of the inside map of Garenham, and when you go back in, it takes you back to the front of Garenham.
Yeah, but that would that would negate the possibility of the gold grind. And meanwhile, the thealanheffley finds Edric's token at Hawksness. Thankfully, the enemy was that a wyvern? Either which way, it wasn't hard to deal with, apparently.
Yeah, especially with having hurt more, that enemy definitely fell very quickly. I do think it was a wyvern. I'm not 100% positive on it, though.
And meanwhile, apparently ichbinmiah did find a golem. It was not enough to get level 2, though.
Any form of experience at this point is just worth it for him. I mean, we're 36 minutes into the seed now, and he's definitely going to be feeling some of that pressure.
Mm-hmm. The fact that he is actually saving, he has not reset, so he is accepting that XP.
Yeah, and I think at this point you have to take any XP that you can come across. You really do.
Ooh, and Alan Heffley finding the Stones of Sunlight Cave. Don't think there's... Yeah, it's a torch. I didn't think there would be much of worth there. Because there's... Is there really anything in treasure chests that would be worthwhile at this point? I think we found everything that there is.
No, the only thing that he could be potentially looking for there is herbs to restock his supply of herbs. Because I don't believe he has a full stock of herbs, and that's a super quick check. So something that's really interesting is that it seems like the Angry Canuck is literally just like 30 seconds behind the Alan Heffley on every one of his moves. It just seems like he just got done with Swamp Cave, just got done checking the back half of Garenham, and now the Angry Canuck is right here. These guys are taking such a close route. It's actually a very interesting race.
And meanwhile, the Alan Heffley just hit level 14 and got 22 HP for it. Oh, and okay, but Alan Heffley hadn't bought a silver shield, but has now. Okay. Doesn't have enough for anything else, but silver shield is definitely, if a silver shield is cheap, you get it. There's no reason not to. The armor can be forgiven because you'll eventually find Edric's armor anyway. Hopefully. So, but the shield, it's getting the shield is often a priority, especially in Chaos where they could be dirt cheap.
Yeah, and I mean, the silver shield giving 20 defense to your defense total is pretty huge.
And the Alan Heffley turning in the Staff of Rain has all the parts needed to get the rainbow drop.
And the jerk is actually right next door.
Yes, he is. And I know at least on the Hangry Canuck side, we saw Sharlock. I can only assume that the Alan Heffley has as well. So, would you be willing to dive into Sharlock without Edric's armor at this point?
So I definitely wouldn't dive into Sharlock at this point, because you're not going to find anything of value in the treasury. The best thing that you can find is going to be an herb. Right now, what needs to be found is the armor. That's literally the only thing that they have left to find. So overworld exploration is going to be much more important than any potential information they could get about the enemies in Sharlock, while getting absolutely nothing in return for it.
So I think the best thing that our runners can find right now would be the town of Cole. Because even if that's not where the armor is, at least it's a fast check. And that's another 10 power. Very nice.
And I definitely agree with you there, that it's a super fast check. But watching this overworld, it wouldn't be too terrible of a stretch for these runners to attempt counting the coordinates if they find Cantlin first. So,
well, my thought on that is that probably the worst thing for our runners to see is to find Cantlin before Cole, get the coordinates, and have that be the fairy flute.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true as well. That would be a huge waste of time for them.
And ichbinmiah still looking for that second golem.
Yeah, there's got to be definitely some frustration on the other end of his stream right now.
Yeah, I don't blame him for that. That's... Oh, there's the golem. There it is. But now he just has to actually land 5 hits. Or...
hurt it to death.
Or get 1 hurt. That works too. So, yay! Maya has leveled up. Granted, it's to... Oh, that was to level 3. Alright. But hey, Progress!
Yes, no kidding. Progress indeed, and that 14 MP might prompt him to actually step outside the swamp and see what he can find.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention that if he's able to get to Rimbledar, he does have enough money to buy the Flame Sword. He'd probably favor that over getting the Silver Shield right at the moment.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I wouldn't be surprised to see him also pick up keys as well and check out the Tantagel basement.
Oh, and look, we've got two towns. I did not see what that first one was that the thealanheffley found. If this was Cole and Cantlin right next to each other, that would be amazing. Well, there's Cantlin at least.
Well, let's see. We found Cantlin, we found Remolder, we found Garenham, and Brackenary. So that would leave Cole and Hawksness, which we've already found Hawksness. So the other town that he had there had to have been Cole.
I guess. Which makes me wonder why he didn't. If that was Cole, why he didn't check the search spot on it. Unless he did, we just didn't see it. All right, let's see what we have for coordinates. 83 south, 9 east. Ew.
I'm guessing that that's going to be a second continent. I don't think that you can quite go 83 south. It looked to me like it was going to be about 70 or 74 paces south of the castle, with only going 9 east. So we might be seeing a Princess Gwaelin pickup here.
That's assuming that the armor wasn't in Cole. Because if that's right, because if you know that that's where the fairy flute is, I for one would have just said no and just move on.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that too. Our tracker Cyberdark this evening has eyes like a hawk, though. He's picked up some things that I just completely glazed over, even though I was looking right at that screen. So I think that he would have picked it up. So. We actually got some pretty respectable stats right now.
Oh, okay, that other town is Garenham. That's what that was. Okay. I see this. The sync in the map there between Hangry Canuck and thealanheffley. And looks like thealanheffley is starting to count. And ooh, ichbinmiah takes out a warlock for 9. But it's enough for a level. Ooh, dang. That was some good stats for 1 level, goodness.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. That's where that big boost earlier, that's where the majority of that came from.
Alright, so ichbinmiah finally making some headway here, at least on the experience front.
Yeah, and the thealanheffley here, looking inside of this swamp here, it's gonna be close. And ichbinmiah taking another save. Maybe this is the level that he goes on with his current HP total. Nope, choosing to grind.
Yeah, he's probably saving because going through the entire death sequence is probably slower than just restarting. At least in my mind, it is.
Yeah, it definitely is much slower than just straight up resetting and then mashing that start button and that A button. And the text from the king isn't very long there, whereas there is a little pause between when the game tells you you have died and when you actually took the lethal amount of damage, and you
Mhm.
typically reset before you actually die.
Oh boy, Alan Heffley running afoul of a Druid Lord here that has hurt more and is not letting him get away.
Yeah, at this point, he's probably better off trying to attack.
Oh, and it has stop spell too. Oh man, that sucks. Oh, but he's able to get away. Hopefully, he didn't lose his count. Uh, oh boy, he might have lost his count.
I think he's too far west right now.
There it is, and it is the fairy flute.
Oh, that's got to be frustrating.
Right next to a cave too. That's an interesting spot for it.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, he's just gonna have to keep exploring. He's got to find coal now. Coal is the last location.
Yeah, yeah. And I think another reason why ichbinmiah is saving after each level, he's also getting some gold from these fights, and he probably wants to keep that. I just hope he doesn't run afoul of the menu boss and put on the death necklace by accident.
Yeah, I had a seed last night. We were running standard flags, and I accidentally put the curse belt on 10 minutes into the seed. It was a
Ooh.
rough seed.
Ooh, the Hangry Canuck is rescuing Gwaylin. See. I did not see what the trap tile was there. Though I guess we may. Well, we'll probably just outside, so we won't see it on the way out. But the Hangry Canuck, knowing what the coordinates are, is probably taking the safer route and getting to what we know is the fairy flute.
And here we go with the ichbinmiah really taking off with Hurt More, able to take down a lot of these enemies with the Hurt More spell. Definitely seeing lots of experience jumping for him, so he's definitely gotten off the ground and he's definitely on his way up. He's just got to get some exploring done now.
Yeah, those Drackies are providing a decent amount of XP. I think this was 88 XP per Drackie. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not terrible at all, especially with them being as susceptible to Hurt More as they are.
Although from what it looked like, they weren't going down in one shot.
Yeah, and even with them not going down in one shot, with you having 70 MP, they're not the most efficient enemy, but they're definitely not the worst thing you could be fighting. I would have to give that to the Magi Drackies that are floating around Tantagel with that Slept in Wreck combo. And now we have ichbinmiah deciding to venture out and journey a little bit. Red Dragon susceptible to hurt more, giving 200
Nice.
experience. That's huge. The only downside to the Red Dragon being that it has Dragon Lord 2 breath.
Yeah, but if it goes down quickly, then it's if you can take one down in one shot, then the old two breath don't matter. And Alan Heffley finally finds coal, and since we know that by a process of elimination, this is where that armor will be.
Yeah, and his stats are going to go quite a bit up. I believe it's 28 defense for Erdrick's armor. Is that right?
Something like that. I never really memorized the armor, the attack and defense gains from these things.
Well, and our tracker pulling up his defense stat of 100. That is a huge defense stat, especially for a strength HP build. I would say that this is definitely go mode. This is definitely, you're going to go fight the Dragon Lord right now.
Never mind the 100 defense. Look at that attack power, 146. That's what attack range of, I believe, 11 to 23. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, that definitely puts you well in striking distance of an average Dragon Lord 2. But with this being Chaos, he could have his work cut out for him. In Chaos mode, the Dragon Lord can have, I believe it's 105 HP to 225 HP, I think is the range it is. So...
But the thing is, even if the Dragon Lord rolled high, the Hangry Canuck has enough attack power, has enough defense, has enough MP that I think he'd be able to survive either which way.
Yeah, I would definitely say that he is a favorite to win. Even with the high HP roll, I'd say he's a favorite to win probably about 75% of the time. So this is definitely go mode. He just has to roll decently. I mean, that's basically what this boils down to, and also whatever the spike tile is. And once again, rolling back to whatever enemies are in Charlock and whether or not he's able to run from them on a constant and consistent basis.
So it looks like ichbinmiah is taken to using the harp again, just in a different spot. I don't think he realizes that it doesn't really matter where he plays the harp. He's going to be getting the same enemies either way.
And he gets slept and wrecked.
Yep. Lost half his gold, but I think he gained enough XP along the way that he's taken it. So he still hasn't found Hogshead. He's venturing south. I don't think he's ever gone north.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to come back to haunt him later on when he discovers that Rimulder is up there. And when he discovers that the Harp Cave and Jerk is just to the east of Tantagel.
Hey, taking out those red dragons, those are serving him well. He's getting some good XP from those.
Yeah, this definitely isn't a waste of time for him as much as it was before.
I mean, at this point, just take a look. As much grief as ichbinmiah has had, just the level difference between him and Hangry Canuck, it's only 13 to 10.
Yeah, and that climb from 10 to 13 is actually quite a wide experience gap there. I mean, looking at it, you're at 3177 at level 13. I would imagine he's probably about halfway through, but I mean, that's still a 2,000 experience point difference. And with fighting enemies that give you a potential of 200 experience, that's not a whole lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, except that he's using the harp, which is not going to give him those red dragons. But he was getting the red dragons from just wandering around, not from using the harp. Meanwhile, the Alan Heffley fought the Wolf Lord that was at the trap tile, and he's gonna gain a bit of his health back from walking, assuming the gold man just doesn't take it all back.
Yeah.
and the Stone Man's hitting pretty hard as well. I think, the thealanheffley is trying to conserve on his herbs or something. But these enemies are not letting him have that luxury.
Well, our maximum HP is only 111 right now, I think it is. So he's pretty close to his max right now.
Yeah. Alright, so let's see what kind of Dragon Lord 1 we have, because goodness knows we've seen the Dragon Lord hit for a lot, but he is not hitting for a lot today. And he has regular hurt as well. That's a nice thing to see.
And heal more.
That's not good. That is not good.
That sucks a lot.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, once he drops him back down to 25% of his health, he's going to be 50-50 chance, or probably 75, to utilize the Heal More spell.
Yeah, looking at... because we have access to these stats, and I can confirm that is 75%. And, apparently Maya reset after getting all those levels and went back down to level 7. Okay, that's an interesting decision. Kind of wonder what prompted that. But meanwhile, the thealanheffley got past Dragon Lord 1 and is facing off against Dragon Lord 2. Oh, he lost to the menu boss. He put on the necklace. Oh, man, that's unfortunate. So with as many heal mores as the thealanheffley has, I think this fight is pretty much in the bag here.
Yeah, he's definitely a favorite to win. And as I was talking about earlier, even with the Dragon Lord having high HP, he's had, I think that's his 4th attack that's been above average considerably. So the Dragon Lord does have heal though, so this could get pretty dicey pretty quickly.
Possibly. Might have to throw out a stop spell or two at some point. Either that or get lucky and have the Dragon Lord not heal after one of those attacks.
Yeah, and it looks like he's only at a 25% chance to cast heal as well, because he's continued to attack through those heals, and we're not seeing him heal nearly as often as the 75%. So, but
and down he goes.
Yeah, so took the words right out of my mouth there. So GG to the thealanheffley.
Oh yes. Just have to walk back up to the king and make this official. And with that, the thealanheffley finishes with an official SRL time of 59 minutes and 11 seconds. GG. And with that big 5 points, puts the thealanheffley in double digits. Not enough for a spot in the playoff rounds, but a win's a win.
Yeah, definitely so. Very well played to him. A Chaos Seed that is sub 1 hour, even with very fast experience, is still a very well executed seed. So definitely very well played on the thealanheffley's part.
And especially since we've seen how unforgiving this particular seed can be. So the fact that the thealanheffley was able to get as much exploration done early, that definitely paid off huge, finding Rimuldar as early as he did.
Yeah, and then nailing that slime early on, bumping him up to level 7. That's basically the equivalent of running into a metal slime in the vanilla game right at level 1.
Pretty much, yeah. That's about as much experience as he got for it.
It looks like the Angry Canuck is still having a little bit of trouble finding coal, that being the last piece of the puzzle for him. Armored Knights, giving 222 experience. And
nice.
Not a terrible level, but not a great level. So, 16 was definitely the level that you wanted to go on.
Yeah. Although you don't want to go in at any point without Edric's armor. Since just from the armor itself, you're getting that big reduction in hurt more and dragon breath damage.
And ichbinmiah deciding to turn down the equipment that is in Breckenary. Definitely a good call on his part, seeing as how there was not very much there that was of use that was fairly inexpensive.
Yeah, he just needs to go north from Tangijol and get to find Rimmildar, because that's where the good stuff was. And it looks like the thealanheffley has declined an interview, but still GG's all the same. So, did the Hangry Canuck ever get to the coordinate spot to get the flute?
I didn't catch it on his screen, and I don't think that he did. I think that he's searching for coal first.
Well, I know he was. I thought he was on his way there, but he might have died or something and decided to
and he's
try
right
and find
next
coal
to
first
coal.
or something.
That is
yep,
coal.
There it is. There we are. And ichbinmiah is deciding to buy the club. And it's better than nothing, technically.
Yes, definitely, technically speaking.
So, at level 15, looking at the stats here, it looks like the Hangry Canuck still has some pretty good attack power. To having, I believe I guess the attack range being 6 to 13, I guess it's not the best.
Yeah, 6 to 13 definitely makes it quite a stretch for him. The Dragon Lord definitely seemed to have pretty low HP. The only way to know for sure is going to be to peak, but I would say that it's probably somewhere around the 150-ish range. 150 to 160, I would think. And with that being the case, with him having heal, the Angry Canuck just isn't really a favorite to win. It's rough to say it, but he's just not quite there yet.
Well, there is that chance that he could pull off a stop spell.
Well, even with the stop spell, even with the stop spell, we have 12 heal mores, and on average damage, he's going to be dealing, 10 damage. So you need at least 16 attacks with only 12 heal mores. You only have 109 HP, so it's going to be close.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
And we are joined by a Game Boy F9. Hello.
Hello. That was some really poor routing on my part.
I think you're in the wrong room, sir.
Oh, I'm in the wrong room. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're on the we kind of got swapped. We're in the Randomania 2 room.
Well, something really amazing is happening in this room, and I'll head out. I'm sorry about that.
Yep, no problem. Well, that was awkward.
Indeed, but we never mind a cameo from one of the top runners.
Yeah, and the thing is, even going into this, because we're in the Randomania 1 room, the other race is in the Randomania 2 room for the commentary, so that was... I can see where that mistake could have been made.
Yeah, definitely, and I didn't actually know that we had that separation with the commentary rooms. I thought that it was just use whichever one you wanted. So, I learned something new today.
Well, I mean, I'm not debating that front. It's just that we're in room 1, but we're on Randomania 2, so that's kind of a weird, awkward thing.
Yeah, true that.
Meanwhile, ichbinmiah, who was searching through Garen's grave, has already found the sword, so at least we don't have to worry about getting to Rimuldar for the flame sword, at least.
He's still gonna want to find Rimuldar, though, seeing as how the silver shield was there for very cheap.
And keys, too.
And keys. I think the silver shield could also be in Cantlin as well, but it'll be interesting to see whether or not he ends up finding Rimuldar or not, because I don't think that it's going to be required, because there's a magic key on the top floor of the grave, which means that he doesn't have to worry about that. What was it? Tablet in Tantageal Basement had nothing, so that really limits down what he actually needs keys for. So he doesn't need keys for a whole heck of a lot here.
And, the Hangry Canuck fighting the Wolf Lord that has heal more, which is proving troublesome. And I already saw he had already used some herbs even leading up to that fight, so...
Yeah, and he's also burned some of his MP as well. He's only got 11 heal mores right now.
Yeah, that's not good. But if nothing else, fighting the Dragon Lord now, if nothing else, he's gaining information. At least he'll know what the Dragon Lord has in store for him. If he is not successful this time.
Yeah, and information is definitely power in this game, that is for sure. And if I remember right, the path between level 15 and level 16 was actually a pretty short EXP. I want to say that there was only like 600 experience or so. So there's not a whole lot of experience needed.
Alright, let's see how this goes. Oh, he's leading off with stop spell right off the bat, though it's not working yet. But holy cow, the dodging on this one.
Yeah, this is definitely a very unfortunate fight for the Angry Canuck. Definitely some rough RNG here. And
given that he's just using slinging spells left and right, this is probably looking more like a scouting mission anyway. But holy cow, enough dodging! Oh, that would explain it. Turns out the Dragon Lord 1 has a dodge rate of 14 to 16. That explains that, huh?
So it's always interesting with this particular tracker, because this particular tracker shows dodge rates in out of 16% or out of 16, and the game actually reads it as out of 64. And the largest amount that the game can actually handle based on RNG is actually, I think it's 15 out of 64, which is the Demon Knight's dodge rate. So I think it's 14 out of 64 for the dodge rate for the DL1, if I'm reading that correctly.
Well, he was the Dragonlord was getting those rolls during this fight for sure.
Well, and I mean, think about how wonky running away from things can be in this game. I mean, you can have 100 agility and still run fail to an armored knight multiple times in a row, even though...
Or a red dragon, too.
Yeah, your run percentage at that point is in the upper 60s, but you're just not able to get away for some reason.
Yeah, goodness knows anyone who's ever played Fire Emblem knows 99% often means 0.
Yeah, no kidding.
Alright, so Angry Canuck's starting to run low on MP, so let's see how... I wasn't keeping track of the damage being dealt, so...
Neither was I. I definitely think that this was just him taking a gander to see what the Dragon Lord has in store for him. But he is going to get a triple attack.
The fact that he was using heal means that it probably was close, but not close enough. Yeah, just another 570 XP for the next level, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, especially seeing as how slimes and things like that are right next to Remoldar and Tantagel. I would say go for it. I'd grind out level 16 at this point for sure.
That's assuming the slimes actually stick around.
True.
And Maya finding the Staff of Rain Cave and decides to part with his beloved harp.
Yes, indeed. Probably happy to be rid of the item that was holding him up so much.
Yeah, it wasn't doing him much good, keeping that thing around. Well, looks like he's going. The Hangry Canuck is heading right back into Sharlock. I don't know if there was much for enemies that was giving good XP.
Well, I know for certain that Spectres weren't worth very much, and they're down here.
No. I knew there was one that was giving only like 6 or 8. I think that was the Spectres.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does here, because he might just go for another attempt at him, because he was fairly close. If he had the Dragon Lord in heal range, he's actually fairly close. So he might be attempting for another round, just hoping that he's able to make it to him with a little bit more MP.
But yeah, the Stone Man is not playing nice.
Yeah, definitely not going to have it.
Yeah, but I'd say ichbinmiah has found Remoldar, and looks like has gone straight to the key shop. Hasn't even checked the armor shop yet.
Yeah, and I definitely can't say that I disagree with his line of thinking here. What I would assume his line of thinking is go pick up the keys. If you have enough money left over at the end, let's go and check the shop, see what's in the shop, and buy whatever I have money for. So I definitely don't disagree with it. Especially seeing as how he saw the shop in Breckenary with its higher price points.
Yes. And the magic armor was in Remoldar. Okay, I didn't see that. It's not horribly priced either, but yeah, the silver shield is definitely the big ticket item with a small price tag. Don't do Maya, thank you. Okay. That would have been bad.
He forgot that he picked up the sword.
He almost bought the flame sword.
I can say that I have made lots of mistakes running this randomizer. I've attacked the Dragon Lord with only 42 HP remaining with 70 defense. I've done it all, except for that. I have never sold the Erdrick's sword.
I think I did something similar in my last race. I was so focused on trying to add up the damage that I was doing to Dragon Lord, I didn't notice I was at 43 and died.
Yep. We've all had those awkward moments where you're just like, what was I doing?
Well, on some of the, remember last week it was also had the speed hack, so the text was going by so really fast, and I think my mind was so distracted on adding up Dragon Lord damage that I was mashing A, and I shouldn't have been, but oh well.
And the Angry Canuck opening up with a very solid double on the Dragon Lord after taking a very small physical from him. That's 22 there.
Yeah, because even though the Hangry Canuck has less attack power than the thealanheffley did, their defense is the same. So whatever physicals the Dragon Lord's getting, it would have been the same either which way.
It's at 33 right now. 43. That's 55. There's 64. He's been having some decent rolls too. He's had several that have been above average and a couple that have been near max.
$74. Although his MP is starting to get a little low. That's 86, I believe.
There's 98.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite have it. 106.
And there's the heal, and we can't really count anymore because we don't know how much he healed for.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Which means that the Dragon Lord definitely rolled for some very low HP. He was probably around 135 or so.
So now, if you're Hangry Canuck, do you grind for the next level and think maybe I'll get some extra attack power because you got to either overpower that heal or you got to start using stop spells. Either way, that heal needs to be a non-factor here.
Yeah, and as we can see, I went ahead and pulled up the DL2 stats for everybody to see. Stop spell probably not going to be happening this seed. We're just going to have to overpower him.
Oh yeah, 12 out of 16. That's better than a 15 out of 16. Goodness knows, in my last race, I double hurt moored a red dragon that was at a 1 in 16 chance each. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's just a matter of having luck on your side.
Yeah,
but Hangry Canuck does get that level 16, sees the attack power. But it is actually less than what the thealanheffley because he's got the HP MP build going. Right.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so...
But still, that's still, what, a 9 to 19? That's better still.
Yeah, and I mean, he's still the favorite to win at this point. I mean, he's the Dragon Lord's only got 120 HP as we see, so... How did that happen?
And you notice it only took about 5,000 and change to get to level 16. That's not a lot of XP to get to that high a level.
Yeah, definitely not. And I mean, especially when you have so many enemies that are just giving out decent experience, this Wolf Lord actually giving not terrible experience, but not great experience.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about those heal mores. And it seems to be resistant to stop spell, too. But the Angry Canuck is committing MP usage to get past this thing, so...
But with that attack boost, he should have more than enough MP to beat the Dragon Lord at this point. You're looking at 11 heal mores right now, with a range of 9 to 19. So he's definitely the favorite to win here.
Assuming he can actually get there. Which... Oop, okay. I think the Stone Man is toying with him now.
Yeah,
and yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, even sometimes the enemies just don't want to let you go. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah, and Stonemen seem to have pretty close to max agility as well.
I've just pulled it up. It's actually a 176, which isn't max, but it's still pretty high.
Yeah, and our agility only being 101. That puts us at pretty much a coin flip as to whether we're going to be able to run from them or not. So this is pretty much the equivalent of being able to run from a Red Dragon or an Armored Knight at similar agility.
And I did not pay attention to how much XP was needed for level 17, though we'll see if that ever becomes relevant. And we actually have a bit of a high five between Hangry Canuck and Maya. They're pretty much right in the same spot.
Yep.
Very nice.
And ichbinmiah choosing to grind around here for a little bit with how far behind he is on levels. It's not a bad choice, but he is way further behind on exploration at this point. So it's an interesting choice that he's deciding to make.
Well, at a certain point, you probably just realize how far behind you are, and Maya's probably not even concerned about where Hangry Canuck or thealanheffley are. He's just more concerned about his own deal.
And that's a fair point. Stonemen seem to be pretty common on the bottom floor of Sherlock.
Yeah, and that's not a good thing, because they're hard to run from, and they hit pretty hard. I mean, granted, they have stop spell, and I think they have hurt as well, which doesn't really... It's not so bad, but...
Yeah, and we see the Angry Canuck trying to change up the strategy a little bit, trying to put him to sleep there. And seems like they're a little resistant to sleep at least.
Yeah.
Ghosts have sleep.
Yep. And ichbinmiah finding Garanham. If nothing else, he's on the other continent, which that's where Cole is, I believe. So he's on the right track.
Yeah, so pretty much what this boils down to for ichbinmiah is he still needs to find Huxness and coal. If he finds those two things, he is set and ready to go. He's just got to grind out a few more levels and then he's there.
So at this point, if he continues to take bites, by the time he gets there, he'll probably have all the XP he needs.
That's definitely true. It looks like he's clearing out some inventory space maybe there.
Yeah, it definitely looks like what he was doing. Alright, so the Angry Canuck going up against the Dragon Lord once again. Having a bit better luck on the attacks. Not being as evasive this time.
And ichbinmiah has found Cantillon. He's going to get his coordinates here, which is probably going to send him in the wrong direction here.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I must say that I do like the sprite choice for ichbinmiah. It changes the outlook of the old men that give you the information that you need as well. So I definitely like it.
Yeah, the pallets and such. Yeah, I was noticing the same thing on the Hangry Canuck side because the Dragon Lord sprite in Sherlock was distinctly red and black. So.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see how they changed just the fine details when they were putting together these sprite packs that just make it just a little bit more unique.
Well, there's probably just a common palette between those sprites and your player character.
Yeah, true. And it looks like the Angry Canuck is having some trouble with the Dragon Lord here. Getting a lot of heals out of him. With it only being a 25% chance, that's rough.
Yeah, but he has plenty of MP left, so he can still keep going for a while. And ichbinmiah finds Hawksness.
Decided not to go after the search spot, so that's a really good call on his part. And with
at least not yet.
That's true. But he seems to be looking for the other search spots before wasting time on trying to get the coordinates.
Not to mention, he knows where Swamp Cave is. If he wants to go that route, he can go rescue Gwaelin whenever. And the Angry Canuck has succeeded in taking down the Dragon Lord.
Indeed, GG to the Angry Canuck.
Yep. Coming in with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 23 seconds. GG. And ichbinmiah successfully got his token, and he's heading back into Garenham. Might be going on a bit of a princess rescue, or maybe he's just healing up for more exploration. Who knows?
And we are joined by the Angry Canuck GG to you, sir. Very well executed. Hour and a half for a Chaos Seed is definitely an accomplishment to be proud of.
I defy someone in the tournament to have worse RNG than me.
I think ichbinmiah might want to take you up on that.
I can't, like, off the start, everything, like, I don't know why we even had hurt. I think it was working at about a 5% clip for me.
Yeah, hurt wasn't the best thing, but having heal more at the start definitely is probably a good bit of comfort, if nothing else.
Yeah, I didn't play the seed right, though. I made a few mistakes.